Hi everyone. Welcome to today's session, which is on games and tournaments. This session is brought to you by me, Nilanjan Dutta, a candidate percentiler, as well as a Diala 100 percentiler as well. And today we'll be discussing a set on games and tournaments. This is a brief about myself, and this is the set that we'll be discussing today. But before I start the set, I wanted to inform all of you about the Unacademy Plus CAT subscription, which is something that most of you can try and purchase, especially before this weekend, that is May 1st, 2nd, 3rd, because we have a lot of classes scheduled on May 1st, 2nd, 3rd. So maybe at the starting of May itself, just after your salary day is done, make sure most of you subscribing to the Unacademy Plus CAT subscription. Use the discount code for discounts. What you can do is use the code Nilanjan YT while subscribing to the Unacademy Plus CAT subscription. This will give you some additional awesome discounts on the Unacademy Plus CAT subscription. So in today's session, we'll be discussing on a games and tournament set. So the set is about a Champions Trophy hockey tournament that is conducted every 4 years. So there are 16 countries who are participating, and the rankings are 1 to 16. So you have the ranking given 1 to 8 and then 9 to 16. So there are the rankings given for the 16 countries who are part of the Champions Trophy hockey tournament. So the format of the tournament is as follows. In the first round, rank 1, that is top ranked nation, will play the 16th ranked nation in what is called match number 1. Similarly, second rank, that is 2, will play 15, that is the second lowest ranked nation. This is going to be match 2. Then 3 versus 14, 4 versus 13, and so on. So given that there are 16 teams, you will be having 8 matches in the first round, that is match number 1 to match number 8 in the first round. In the second round, what will happen is the winner of the match number 1 of the first round will play the winner of the match of number 8 in the first round, and so on. Similarly, the winner of match number 2 of the first round will go on to play the winner of match number 7 of the first round, and similarly the tournament will progress. All the subsequent rounds will be played in a similar fashion. So in this case, usually it's expected that a higher ranked nation will win, but in case there's an upset, then it is possible that a lower ranked nation defeats and knocks out a higher ranked nation. So what you do is look at the clues in the question to identify whether it's the higher ranked team or lower ranked team winning. If it's an upset, the lower ranked team will win. If it's not an upset, the higher ranked team would be winning. Also, amidst the tournament, there is no change in the rankings, which means that any point of time, the following rankings 1 to 16 will be holding throughout the tournament. So all the matches will be scheduled as per this rankings. That includes the quarterfinals, pre-quarterfinals, the quarterfinals, the semi-finals, the finals. All of them would be held in a similar fashion. So what you do is get the tournament structure, that who will play whom and who which round, and then finally identify what are the possibilities in the end tournament. The questions in the set are as follows. Which could possibly be the lowest ranked nation facing South Korea in the semi-finals if there was no upset in the first round? The second one is saying if each team can cause at most one upset, then which is the lowest ranked nation to win the Champions Trophy? The third is saying if in the first round of games all the odd numbered games were upsets, in the second round every prime numbered game was an upset, then which of the nations could potentially clash in the finals of the Champions Trophy? The last question in the set is saying if there were at most two upsets in the tournament, then who could India lose to in the semi-finals? So these are your 4 questions in the set. So what you can do is take 5-6 minutes to try and solve the set. Remember, this is the layout of the rankings at the initial start. The way the matches are going to be scheduled is as per normal tournament standards. That is, 1 plays 16 in match number 1, 2 plays 15 in match number 2, and so on. The second round again, 1 plays 8, 2 plays 7, and so on. This is the way every game in tournaments works. So what you've got to do is figure out what would be the sequence of matches and then try and answer the 4 questions that are there in the set. So everybody take around 5-6 minutes to try and solve this set. First, try and get the layout of the tournament, that is who will play whom in which round of the tournament. So remember, the corresponding nations are provided for each of the ranks. So this is what will matter as far as the layout is concerned. So country-wise, you can work around with this. For example, in the first round, Germany, which is rank 1, would be playing England. Netherlands would be playing Japan, and so on. So you've got to figure out how the king would pan out in the subsequent rounds as well. So first, try and figure out a tournament layout. Remember, it's a very simple thing. The top ranked nation will play 16, 2 will play 15, and so on. So these are the questions in the set. Lowest ranked nation facing South Korea in the semi-finals if there were no upsets in the first round. If each team can cause at most one upset, then which could possibly be the lowest ranked nation to win the trophy? If the first round of games, all the odd numbered games were upsets, second round, every prime numbered game was an upset, then which of these nations could potentially clash in the finals of the Champions Trophy? The last question is saying if there were at most two upsets in a tournament, then who could India lose to in the semi-finals? So how do we do this? The first thing is getting the entire tournament layout, and this is the structure which every tournament of 16 teams follows. Doesn't matter what is the sport, whether it's football, tennis and so on, always it'll follow this structure. Now what is interesting about the structure? Look at the adjacent things. 116, 8-9, 5-12, 13-4, 3-14, 6-11, 7-10, 15-2. If you look at any adjacent pair, the sum is 17, which means the teams are equally balanced. Also, if you look at any set of 4 teams, that is, if you look at these 4 teams together, the total is 34. Again, every quadrant of the tournament is balanced. Also, if you look at the top 4 teams, that is first, second, third and fourth, you'll find there are 2 teams in the top half, 2 teams in the bottom half. That too, the sum of the 2 teams in the top half is 1 plus 4, 5. The sum of the 2 teams in the bottom half is 2 plus 3, that is 5. Similarly, if I look at the top 8 teams, I'll find there are 4 of them in the top half, 1, 8, 5 and 4. And there are 4 teams in the bottom half, 3, 6, 7 and 2. Again, if you look at each quadrant, 1 and 8 is adding up to 9, 4 and 5 is adding up to 9, 2 and 7 is adding up to 9, 3 and 6 is adding up to 9, which shows that the tournament is balanced. There is no biasness or favoritism towards any team. Entirely based on rankings, the tournament has been laid out. In fact, if you look at the top half and the bottom half, the top 2 teams are in opposite half as well. So at any juncture, if you look at the teams, they are equally split between the top half and the bottom half. And this is the way the layout works for any case. So now what you need to do is, with this layout in place, against each rankings, you need to mark the names of the teams based on whatever you read. For example, Germany is ranked 1, so against rank 1, we mark Germany. Against rank 16, we mark England. Against rank 9, Argentina. Against rank 8, Canada, and so on. So that is the way we mark the names of the 16 teams against the respective rankings. So try solving with this layout in mind. The first question is saying, which could possibly be the lowest ranked nation facing South Korea in the semi-finals? If there were no upsets in the first round, no upsets in the first round means the better team is qualifying to the quarter finals, which means that between Germany and England, rank 1 will qualify, 8 and 9, 8 will qualify, 5 and 12, 5 will qualify, 4 and 13, 4 will qualify, 2 and 15, 2 will qualify, 7 and 10, 7 will qualify, 6 and 11, 6 will qualify, 3 and 14, 3 will qualify. So basically we have the top 8 teams in the quarter finals. Why? Because there was no upset in the first round. So out of the ranked 1 to 16, 9 to 16 crashes out. The top 8 teams are in the semi-finals, the quarterfinals. Now the question is saying lowest ranked nation that can face South Korea in the semi-finals. So how do we do this? Anybody? So South Korea is in this quadrant. So in the semi-finals, the rule is that you will meet somebody from your same half. So always, which means that there'll be one team from the top half and one team from the bottom half playing in the finals. So in the semi-finals, you're playing a team from the same half. So because Korea is in the bottom half, Korea will be playing a team from the bottom half itself in the semi-finals. The winner of that will be going to the finals. So even if Korea goes to semi-finals, Korea will be playing a team here that is a team from the bottom half. So the rule for semi-finals is you'll be playing a team from the same half but from the opposite quadrant, which means same half, that is the bottom half, but from the opposite quadrant, that is this quadrant. So in this quadrant, you can either have India or Australia playing the semi-final, because whoever wins the match in India and Australia will be going on to play Korea in the semi-finals. So out of the options, if you look at it, says the lowest ranked nation possible. So out of India and Australia, Australia's ranked lower. So definitely the answer to this question will be option A, that is Australia. Incidentally, if you look at the options, one of the options was Canada, whereas Canada belongs to the top half. So the moment you see a team from the top half, you can automatically eliminate them, because if a team is from the bottom half, they'll again play a team from the bottom half itself, the same half itself, in the semi-finals. Similarly, as an option for Pakistan, there's also a team from the top half, so you have eliminated that team right away as well. Netherlands is from the same half, but Netherlands is also from the same quadrant. If you're from the same quadrant, you can at max clash in the quarter finals. But in the semi-finals, only one team from the quadrant will go. So in the semi-finals, you'll be playing a team from the same half but opposite quadrant. At the moment you get eliminated, these three options, you would have left with only Australia as your option. Australia is the only team among the four options which belongs to this quadrant, that is the same half, opposite quadrant. So the answer to the question is indeed option A, that is Australia. Is that clear to everybody? The second question is saying, if each of the 16 hockey nations can cause at most one upset, then which can be the lowest ranked country to win the Champions Trophy? So lowest ranked nation to win the Champions Trophy. So if you look at lowest ranked nation, it's possible to win the Champions Trophy. It should be a team that is after causing at most one upset. So try solving this. So at most one upset, and at the same time our objective is lowest ranked nation to win the trophy. So how do we do this? The easiest way is by ensuring that the top 8 teams, all of them crash out. Given that any team can cause at most one upset, the easiest way would be ensuring that all the bottom teams, that are the teams ranked 9 to 16, all of them create an upset and it make the top 8 teams crash out. The moment that happens, the team that can win the trophy has to be one of the teams from 9 to 16, and that is the easiest way to ensure that one of the lower ranked teams wins. The problem is that now that all of the 9 to 16 ranked teams have caused at most one upset, it means no more upsets are allowed. If no more upsets allowed between the teams ranked 9 to 16, then automatically the best team out of the teams ranked 9 to 16 will go on to win the trophy. And the best team out of the teams ranked 9 to 16 is the team ranked 9th, that is Argentina. The problem is, given that all the other teams have caused at most one upset in the first round, they cannot cause any more upsets. So out of 9 to 16, ranked 9 being the best of the 9 to 16 ranked teams will go on to win the trophy. Hence the answer is option C, Argentina. The third question is saying, first round of games, all the odd numbered games were upsets. Second round, every prime numbered game was an upset. Then which team can clash in the finals of the Champions Trophy? What are the rules for finals? The finalists must be from opposite halves. That is, one from the top and one from the bottom. So first thing you do is look at which of the options is one of the teams from the top half, one from the bottom half. So we look at that options. First one says China and Canada. Canada is top half, China is top half, so that is incorrect option. Malaysia and Russia. Malaysia is bottom half, Russia is bottom half. Again, that is an incorrect option. China versus Germany. China is bottom half, top half. Germany is top half. Again, two top half teams cannot play in the finals, so that is also an incorrect option. So now we are left with option D only. And there we find Russia is from the bottom half, Canada is from the top half, which means this is the only permissible condition that Russia can play Canada in the final. So given that we've eliminated options A, B, and C, the right answer will have to be option D, that is Russia versus Canada. The final question in the set is saying if there were at most 2 upsets in the tournament, then who could India lose to in the semi-finals? Again, in the semi-finals, you'll be losing to somebody from the same half, opposite quadrant. So where is India? India is in the bottom half, so it should be from the same half, which is where the problem is. You have an option Canada, which is from the top half, which is not possible to meet India in the semi-finals. So immediately eliminate option A. However, the problem with South Korea and Russia is both of them are in the bottom half and from the opposite quadrant as well in the bottom half. So we cannot eliminate anyone of South Korea and Russia. So what we need to do is look at the other condition in the set, that is there were at most 2 upsets in the tournament. So out of South Korea and Russia, which one is possible? If you look at Russia, the problem is in this quadrant, Russia is the 3rd best ranked team. And to meet India in the semi-finals, what is needed is Russia qualifies to the semi-finals. And for Russia to qualify to the semi-finals, 2 teams must crash out, which means 2 better teams must crash out, which means 2 upsets are required. First, Russia must beat Korea, which is 1 upset because Korea is the higher ranked team. And the second upset would be Netherlands must be losing to either Japan or Russia, which means there's a second upset already happening. And the problem is this, that if Russia has already qualified to the quarterfinals with there being 2 upsets in the tournament in their quadrant, then Russia cannot defeat India. It says India loses to which team? India cannot lose to Russia because India is a higher ranked team than Russia. If India loses to Russia, that will be counted as a 3rd upset. But 3 upsets are not allowed, which means Russia is not permissible. Given that Russia is not permissible, either B or C is also goes out the window. The only left option is South Korea. Now the thing with South Korea is, for South Korea to qualify to the semi-finals, they would be needing 1 upset. Why? Because there's a 1 better team than them in their quadrant. So now if India loses to Korea, that will be counted as a 2nd upset in which Korea goes to the finals. So basically, given that it is going to be a 2nd upset that is permissible, given that the same question is saying at most 2 upsets are allowed in the tournament, so the answer is South Korea is allowed, Russia is not allowed because Russia has to qualify the semi-finals. They would have to qualify making 2 upsets, and if India losing to them would be counted as a 3rd upset, which is not allowed. Hence the answer will be only option B, that is South Korea. So with that, we come to the end of this games and tournaments set. So do make sure you're attending all the batch courses and the live classes on Unacademy Plus. There's an LR batch that got started in the month of April. Do make sure you're attending that on Unacademy Plus. The next session is on May 1st. There is a CAT strategy course that is going on. Again, that the next session is scheduled on May 1st. And of course, we have the perfect score batch which is going on. It's an every weekend batch. So the next sessions are scheduled on May 2nd and 3rd at 10 a.m. So do make sure all of you attending each of these live classes on Unacademy Plus. For subscribing to these live classes, you can use the discount code Nilanjan, which is my name, .yt while subscribing. On that note, thank you everybody and happy learning.